we're seeing these phenomenal riders, right? And I've said it a few times. I think they are their own worst enemy. Their strongest enemy is themselves, because they're used to doing this big raids, these big demonstrations, and sometimes it happens. We've seen it with Van der Poel. We've seen it with Tadej. They go out and they think they have it, and then finally they run out of gas.
Well, good morning, everybody, and happy Easter. Welcome back to the Move podcast, talking about the 2025 Amstel Gold race. Certainly a race I love. I love this race. I loved doing it. I even had the World Championships in that part of the world in 1998. It felt very similar to an Amstel Gold race. It's I think it's a beauty. The fans are great. The Dutch folks are great. Super nervous race, right? As we all know. Speaking of all, of course, I'm joined by my fellow Easter Bunny, Mr. George Hincapie.
Hello. Happy Easter.
Where you're at the lake house, I see.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, just balling. Is it nice over there?
Beautiful. It was 85 yesterday. It's sunny.
God, yeah, I'm in Denver visiting my daughter, Grace, and it was snowing 2 days ago, so you guys can imagine just how I feel about that.
Yeah, I was wondering why you're all winter geared up.
No, it's cold. It's cold outside. Look, it's 43 degrees outside right now.
Ouch.
Huh? And another Easter Bunny, Mr. Johan Brunel. Johan, how are you? Wait, hang on a second. You're in Spain. Do they celebrate Easter there?
Of course. They
do?
Happy Easter, everybody. Yeah. Why wouldn't they?
Nah, I don't know. I'm just messing with you. An incredible and surprising. What a surprise. I mean, this is why they put the numbers on. This is why they do the race, right? This looked like I was watching going, oh God, what are we going to talk about? Tadej Pogačar rides away with 40K to go. He's the best of certainly this generation, maybe the best of all time. And lo and behold, they caught him. Remco and Skjelmose. Certainly the biggest result of his career, although he has had results. We will talk about him as we get into the action. But before we do, today's show brought to you by Peak, right? Now, as a cyclist, I know that energy, endurance, and digestion can make or break performance. We'll also talk about this with regards to Tadej Pogačar, because I suspect nutrition and digestion had something to do with what we saw in the race today. But seriously, gut issues and sluggish energy could still hold you back. No matter how much I've trained in the past, there are days I'd feel heavy and bloated after meals, and my energy would crash when I needed it most. That all changed when I discovered Peak's Pu'er Teas. Green Pu'er has become my go-to pre-ride fuel. It gives me calm, steady energy without the jitters or crashes. And Black Pu'er, it's my post-ride recovery secret, supporting digestion, reducing bloating, and leaving me feeling light and ready to go again. For a limited time, get 20% off for life, plus a free starter kit. That's a rechargeable frother and glass beaker when you grab the Pu'er bundle with my link, peaklife.com/themove. That's peaklife.com/themove. And with Peak's 90-day money-back guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Try it now. And let me just spell this for you. Peak. And it's not what you think. Pique, peaklife.com/themove, and feel the difference on your next ride. Also today brought to you by Maui Nui. Now, this is the healthiest red meat that you'll ever meet. Another fun fact, while I'm not going to Maui this week, I am headed over to Hawaii this week. Cannot wait to see my peeps on the Big Island. Going to go see some folks on Kauai. And no, I know this sounds like George's life, but it's my life. All right, it's my life this week. You hear that, G?
What's up in Hawaii?
Work.
Oh.
No, honestly, yes, I am going to meet some great folks. However, no Jizzy, no Yizzy, commercial Zizzy, American Izzy. Back to Maui Nui. I just love it, man. I'm in this Hawaiian vibe. Like I said, the healthiest red meat you'll ever eat. 100% wild harvest and stress-free process delivers the highest protein to calorie ratio, up to 53% more than grass-fed beef. Their sugar-free peppered sticks pack 10 grams of protein at just 55 calories, loaded with essential nutrients, vitamins, and healthy fats. Incredibly clean tasting and unmatched tenderness. Check this out too, because I straight up don't like this, but this is what's so great about Maui Nui. No gamey taste, just savory and satisfying. Maui Nui offers the only 100% wild harvested meat that's completely stress-free and responsibly sourced. Maui Nui Venison is offering the Move listeners a limited collection of our favorite cuts and products, but supply is limited by the nature of their work, so don't wait. Head on over to MauiNuiVenison.com/TheMove. That's Maui Nui, and of course, Maui is MAUI, Nui is NUI, MauiNuiVenison.com/TheMove. And I'll see you folks in Hawaii this week. Let's talk about the race for a little while. Yeah, right. I mean, Johan, what happened? I mean, this was what we've sort of seen over and over again the last few years, where Pogi is just does Pogi things. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I mean, this is a very hard, nervous race. The weather cooperated, right? This race, God forbid you roll this race in the rain and, temperature in the 40s or 50s. It is awful. The weather looked great. But nonetheless, it's still a nervous race, and it just caught up to him.
Yeah, and it's a hard race,
very hard.
250K. What I think happened with Pogačar is obviously he was motivated to win it. He had his team control the race. I think today we saw a good Tadej Pogačar, not a great Tadej Pogačar. And looking at what he's done the last few weeks, this is the second part of the classic season, right? So we have Flanders, Roubaix, and all the other semi-classics in between, the cobbled northern Belgium, northern France classics, and then Amstel, Liège, and Liège. Totally different cycling. And usually it's different riders. So only Pogačar can do everything. But I think today he's just a little bit in between. He obviously had the ambition to win. I personally think he got surprised by the attack of Alaphilippe. In my opinion, he was going to try to attack on the Kruisberg or the IJzerbosweg, two difficult climbs. And actually, when Alaphilippe went, there's something that I noticed in Pogačar that you say, okay, he's okay, but it's not the usual super Pogačar. He was a little bit like shock. I don't know if it was a surprise or a shock to his body, or because he wasn't prepared for that attack, but he didn't look as fluid as usual. And then once you're in front, I mean, then he went without even trying. He dropped Alaphilippe. Then he was out there by himself, and I think it caught up with him. And I think you may have a point, Lance, that the fueling may be an issue. We've seen this already. Let's not forget, we've seen this once in the Tour de France when he got caught by Jonas in one of the stages, and he lost in the sprint against him. That obviously he recovered from it. But, these long solo rides, I mean, you have to be really strong, and to do it over and over and over again, it takes a lot out of you. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a different Pogačar in Flèche and Liège. But today, listen, he's still on the podium. He's still second, but it's not the usual dominant Pogačar we've seen from the earlier races.
And what we did see, which George, I'd just love you jump in here, but this is, this was playing out the way they've seemed to play it out the last couple of years. This was a exciting race. Mm-hmm. And of course we're all on the group chat going, does he get caught? We're watching the GPS, watching the time gaps. And I think nobody says it in the group like, oh God, I hope he gets caught. But we're all sitting here going, can we please just catch him and see what happens in the bike race? Can we just let this play out with 2 or 3 or 10 guys? Doesn't matter. But it ended up being a hell of an exciting race.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so sure it was a fueling issue, because I think we've just gotten so used to seeing these guys be so dominant. They go with 80K, 60K to go, and then you never see them again. I think what we're seeing is some of the guys are starting to come up in their level. Remco Evenepoel, second race back from his horrible crash, I don't know, five months ago. Maybe slightly come into that climb when Alaphilippe and Pogačar rode away a little bit, not great position. But I like the way he kind of held back, used his teammate, which we were discussing during the race. Like, why is EF doing so much work? Why is Lidl-Trek doing so much work? Later, we found out they ended up winning. But I feel like we're going to start seeing some tactical changes where they're going to start expecting guys like Pogačar, these top 3 dominant guys, be able to ride away in the last 50K. So what would we do back in the day? We'd be like, we have strength in numbers. Why not we just let this guy go, get 10 seconds, and try to keep... I mean, guys, teams like EF and Lidl-Trek, they still had a solid representation in the group. Use them later on once they're in a defensive position, then using them offensively, essentially working for a guy like Pogačar. I think we're going to start seeing change in tactics like that. And now we're going to see the rest of this classic season be super exciting. I mean, we got Remco on his way up, Skjelmose and Lidl-Trek now super motivated, confident. Pogačar is going to want revenge. He doesn't like losing. The next couple of races are going to be really exciting.
Well, that's right. And I if I just as an observer, I thought there was all kinds of tactical errors. Yeah. Right. I mean, I don't look. Pogačar does what Pogačar does. So going with Alaphilippe, we just thought that was it. Just use that as a little springboard to riding away. He doesn't need to go with Alaphilippe. It's been years since he was on the front. But then as he's getting caught, I think the real mistake here was with Remco, right? Clearly super confident after his sprint victory last week over Wout van Aert. But this is a very hard race. He crashed earlier in the race. Let's not forget, right? This just, it takes something out of you. Then to come back and then to immediately go through a rider like Tadej Pogačar full gas. What are you doing?
He was definitely, even going into the sprint, he essentially pulled up the whole Kalberg on the way the last 2 kilometers, let the guys go through once in a while, but he was doing the brunt of the work, also chasing down Pogačar. But like you said, Lance, I think he was just, I mean, it's hard to criticize him. What an incredible comeback. He's already won and gotten third in 2 huge races. But I mean, he did not even ask for a pull in that last kilometer and was so confident that he was going to win and still did a great sprint. But these guys were both, I think they were just on their final, they were all on their final matches. And Skjelmose even shocked himself. Not only he shocked the world, but he shocked himself.
He said that in the interview.
Yeah. They were empty. You know, I think to come back on a guy like Pogačar, you know, and we're seeing these phenomenal riders, right? And I've said it a few times. I think they are their own worst enemy. You know, their strongest enemy is themselves, because you know they're used to doing these big raids, these big demonstrations, and I mean, sometimes it happens. We've seen it with Van der Poel. We've seen it with Tadej. You know, they go out and they think they have it, and then finally they run out of gas. You know, and a guy like Remco also, he's used to just always riding. I mean, obviously, great motivation after Friday's win against Wout van Aert. I think third place for him in Amstel Gold race. Let's not forget, it's also the first time he participated in Amstel Gold race. Remco Evenepoel. He didn't know the race. So I think it's very promising for what we're going to see for the rest of the season from him. But yeah, I mean, listen, Amstel is a mix. Amstel, we all know Amstel is a mix of, you know, some of the guys from the Flemish classics, like this is their last race, and then the guys for the Ardennes classics, it's their first classic, right? So the 3 guys up front, I mean, they're you know, really amazing, and you know, we all said, okay, Skjelmose was the least of the 3 we expected to win, but let's not forget, you know, he won the Tour of Switzerland. Yeah. He won the Tour of Luxembourg. He was 5th in the Vuelta last year, won the white jersey. He was still a young rider last year.
Yeah. He's only 24.
Yeah. And so, you know, also, you know, really, really great. And he did a really good Tour of the Basque Country, comes out of Tour of the Basque Country with great form, which none of these other guys have done. So sometimes, you know, the guy who least expects to win, all of a sudden you come in a situation, you see, okay, these other guys also have no more legs, and here I am and I'm winning.
And Johan, correct me if I'm wrong, he did have a bad crash in Paris-Nice, right? So he was also sort of on the comeback trail.
He did have a bad crash. He hit his head quite hard and had to abandon. He was the leader of the team, and but I could see last week, 2 weeks ago in Tour of the Basque Country, he was already on good form again.
Yeah, he's definitely not a panacoca.
No, for sure not. For sure not.
And what we also know is that he definitely gave one of the best post-race interviews of the season. Man after our own hearts.
Yeah.
Three or four F-bombs.
He didn't know what was happening. He was there.
No.
Like, okay, what's happening to me?
Well, he said that. He's like, he's like, I was just surprised. But that's the thing. And he was very descriptive on his conversations with Remco that, look, I just can't pull. I don't have anything. Mm-hmm. But that's neither here nor there. That all gets thrown out the window when you come down and you find yourself still there and coming into the sprint. You got to sprint.
Yeah. And you could clearly see, on the Kouwberg, he was, in his mind, he was riding for third. He just didn't want to slow down.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So he came into that sprint, essentially no pressure, podium spot secured. So why not just sit there and try to go around these guys? I mean, incredible that you can. And one thing, I'm not even sure Pogačar was factoring him into the sprint. He was kind of looking to the right of his shoulder saying, "Oh, I got this. I just came by Remco." And then Skjelmose last minute on the left side passes him up. He was probably pretty shocked to see that.
We'll get into more of the action and talk about some of the surprises, because there were some names that were prominent today that we've never heard of, which actually I haven't heard of a lot of these names. But when Johan says, wait a minute, who is this? Who's this guy? And so we're all doing a quick search up of who he is. And it's always cool to see people pop their heads up and riding. This is a huge race, right? It's not a monument, but it's close, right? Mm-hmm. The only thing it lacks is those 30 or 40 years that the other races have been around. This is a beautiful race. And we'll get into all that in a second. Today's show also brought to you by AG1. Now, I always thought I was starting to eat better, and in fact, I am. But it turns out I was missing something big, and that's omega-3s. I've, of course, been committed to AG1, not just at home, but when I'm on the road, as I am right now, here with my AG1 travel packs. I've also added the omega-3 package to my routine. Now, if you talk to anybody, I mean, I ask a lot of folks out there, like, what supplements? There's so much talk about supplements and different approaches to all this stuff. I think the one consistent thing that always comes back is people basically say, look, if you're just going to take one thing, it's omega-3s, right? And so cool that AG1 has added omega-3s into to the routine that we can all be a part of. AG1 omega-3 is a foundational nutrition soft gel supplement that complements AG1 with a high quality formulation of omega-3 fish oil, making it easy to get the additional essential fatty acids that you need every day. If you haven't tried AG1 yet, they're bundling it with their omega-3s for free. So it couldn't be a better time to start. It's something I've actually been able to stay consistent with, and that's why I've been partnering with AG1 for so long. Subscribe today to get a 1-month supply of AG omega-3 with your first AG1 order. You'll also get their welcome kit with everything you need to get started on your AG1 journey. Make sure to check out drinkag1.com/themove. That's drinkag1.com/themove. Claim this special offer. Love it. Last one of the day. Today's show brought to you by Square. Today's episode is supported by Square. From point of sale systems and payments to inventory and customer tools, Square brings everything together in one simple platform so you can stay organized, sell anywhere, and keep things moving. Whether you're running a bike shop, a coffee shop, a restaurant, or something entirely your own, Square gives you the flexibility to grow at your own pace and even set up an online store in just a few clicks. One of the first things that I noticed about Square was just how easy it is to use. I think a lot of the listeners and viewers, you've seen Square in action. This is so simple, right? Totally flexible, totally seamless, works for all kinds of businesses. Square keeps up, so you don't have to slow down. Get everything you need to run and grow your business without any long-term commitments. And why wait? Right now, you can get up to $200 off the Square hardware at square.com/go/TheMove. That's square.com/go/TheMove. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today. Johan, let's, you had questions about this French kid. I always like Louis Barret.
Yeah, Louis Barret. I said it on the chat, and I never heard of him. Then I checked his results. I mean, he has some results, but it's obviously the first time we see him in the front in a big race, and especially a race of more than 200 kilometers, 250K, to be there and finishing sixth. For Intermarché, that's obviously a great result. So somebody we're going to need to follow. Still young, relatively young, 25 years old. But I was surprised. I had never seen anything like this from him. So it's strange to see him, but great to see. And also, two guys I really want to point out that I really like their performance, although they're in the final, they had to let go. I think they got dropped on the last time, the Kouwberg. But Thibaut Nys, the son of Sven Nys, 22 years old, first time he's in a big race like this. I think he'd never done a race of 250K. Watch him for Flèche Wallonne. He's going to be a top 3, top 5. And then also another guy, Joe Blackmore, 22 years old also. He already showed great form in Flèche Brabançonne. He was with Evenepoel and Wout van Aert. 22 years old on Israel, but a name to follow. Great result. They're 12th and 14th, but they were in the final until the last time of the Kouwberg. So I think very promising riders.
And let's not forget, I mean, we're used to seeing this guy win, but the last 5 races he's done, 2 second places, 3 fourth places, Wout van Aert. I mean, he's doing an incredible spring campaign. Obviously, less than he's probably hoping for, but what consistency. Now he's showing the sort of strength on a completely different terrain, doing it in the mountain, the climbs now. So what a great spring he's having so far.
Also hit the deck today, so you never know.
Yeah. And I was happy to see at least for the first time this year, he wins a sprint. Which is important for him.
Against Michael
Matthews, who
beats Michael Matthews after a long race.
Caboose.
I think the good thing for Wout van Aert is that his condition is obviously quite good, and that he tends to get better during long races. So obviously that's something for him to take with him. And I have no doubt that, obviously he comes back from really far. He had a terrible crash in the Tour of Spain at the end of the season. He already came back from a really terrible crash in the spring last season. If you see pictures of his knee, it's unbelievable. It's crazy. I have no doubt that by this summer, we're going to see Wout van Aert on full gas again.
I agree, Johan. So do you guys think this was the most exciting classic so far this year?
Yes, no doubt.
For me.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
And I loved our text exchanges where I was finally right next to Johan and Spencer, where I was like, I think they're going to catch him. And they're like, no, they're not catching him. But it came down to the wire and just super exciting. This is the type of racing that we love to talk about. So it was just fun, super fun to see.
And I think we'll hear more. I mean, I think Tadej will. They didn't show any post race interviews. He's always, as we all know, very transparent. We'll see what he says. I mean, if it was a nutritional issue, a fueling issue, he'll say it. My sense is it was, but yes.
I disagree. I disagree because he still had a pretty incredible sprint. I mean, if you have a fueling issue and you're running on fumes, I don't know if you can sprint that good. I mean, coming around Remco Evenepoel, who just beat Wout van Aert, I just think these guys are level. Remco and Skjelmose was right there or even better. And tactically, they were able to work together. Skjelmose even said, he sort of made a deal with Remco. Like, look, please don't drop me on the climbs, pull up the climbs, and I'll help you everything I can on the flats. Mm-hmm. So they had an arrangement, which, I mean, the chasers have the advantage. We all know that. And it worked out perfectly for him.
Pogačar gave an interview and he said he feels still tired, not recovered from Paris-Roubaix. I think I understand.
Yeah.
It takes a lot out of you. You know this, George. You know,
100%.
Usually if you focus on Flanders and Roubaix and then you have to go to Amstel, it's like normally you're already empty. You do it because you have to do it, but you're not fresh anymore.
We've said this before. So go ahead, Johan, and I'll say what I'm going to say.
And he also said that he was surprised with the attack of Alaphilippe. He shouldn't have followed him, he said, but he did. So,
well, he had a strong Brandon McNulty there, and I know that, I don't know how legitimate this study is, but they did this study, I don't know, 15 years ago, where they measured muscle breakdown after a race like Paris-Roubaix, and it was worse than running a marathon. Mm-hmm. There's no other race in cycling that will do that kind of damage to your body. And Pogačar's first pro Roubaix rode it like a champ all the way to the finish line. Like, I know from personal experience, obviously I'm a completely different level than any of these guys. No matter how good I was in Flanders and Roubaix, and you still think you can kind of hang on to that form for Amstel, I never did. I was always like, 80% compared to my 100% at Roubaix and Flanders. It's just really, really hard to recover from that race.
And he keeps going. Johan, you said in the pre-show he's going to race Flèche-Wallonne and Liège.
Yeah, well, that's the plan. I'm kind of thinking, after today, I don't know if they're going to skip Flèche.
I would agree, Johan.
I agree. Yeah. That's come on. That's too much.
Yeah. I mean, if you think, George, after Roubaix, he basically he could hardly train this week. You need 3 days to recover, and then what can you do? 2 small rides. So, and it's a completely different way of cycling. It's a different sport for Roubaix and Flanders and the other races.
I agree. I would be surprised if they sent him on Wednesday to race.
Worth noting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think their goal was to win the 3, Amstel, Flèche, Liège, like the triple Ardennes, whatever it's called. His team boss, Mauro Gianetti, did that. I don't know what year it was. It was 95, maybe, or I don't remember which year it was. But
he won. Didn't he? He won Liège in 95 or not? Who won 90? Pascal Richard won 1996. Beat me in 96.
96, yeah.
So that was 95.
Yeah. So obviously that's not possible anymore. So if I would them, I'd skip Flèche for sure.
Well, it is possible.
But he can't win. He can't win the 3.
Skjelmose. It's possible that Skjelmose.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Skjelmose was second already in Flèche-Wallonne.
Yeah.
By the way.
Ja, is niet de pannenkoeken.
Ja, geen pannenkoeken.
Geen pannenkoeken.
Geen pannenkoek.
Boy, I don't like to call out the pannenkoeks, but this is the Amstel Gold race. Excuse me. This is the most important one-day race on the Dutch calendar. Of course, we came across this too many times in our heyday, Johan, with Team Rabobank and Eric Decker and Michael Bogert. They live for this race. Might perhaps be different as Rabobank re-enters the sport next year with this Melissa bike.
This summer, by the way.
This summer, but coming into Amstel. But nonetheless, boy, bad day for the Dutch. Mathieu van der Poel doesn't race. Obviously, he is incredible. He's on the Mount Rushmore right now. Top Dutch rider, 26th place and only 5 finishers. Cycling is cyclical. It just is.
Yeah. Well, I think today's cycling for the Netherlands it's Mathieu van der Poel and then a big gap. They do, however, have a lot of young riders coming. But for now, take away Mathieu van der Poel and it's a huge gap. There's nothing.
And they still got 4th as a team, so it's not all lost for them today.
Yeah, I mean, Visma got 4th with Van Aert for sure, and 8th with Benoot. So they have 2 guys in the top 10, but not Dutch guys.
Right.
Belgians.
Right.
3 Belgians in the top 8. It's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
George, I see Enzo's performance at Paris-Roubaix I'm getting articles sent to me.
I know.
It's running on Apple News.
Yeah, I mean,
literally running because he was running.
Is it really? Yeah. Speaking of
the sheriff sent it to me. He sent me an article from Apple News.
Yeah. I mean, it was while it was a great experience for him. He had, tough time early on, a couple crashes, bike mechanicals jumping a spare bike, and his spare bike was not working, and ultimately ended up falling apart with 2K to go, but he ran to the finish line. And, as a father, I'm sure you guys can imagine, like, you see a bunch of guys roll in that he was ahead of 50K, like 40K from the finish. And then you start worrying. It's Paris-Roubaix, the most dangerous race. And then he runs onto the track, and it's like your heart just stops. And it's like, I was like, I need to get him a bike. So I basically stole one of his teammates' bike, ran to the other side of the track and gave it to him. And he was pretty shattered, but what a learning experience.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? I guess we will be back on Wednesday for Flèche Wallonne.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, next Sunday
for Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Yeah.
For Liège. Be nice and early for me. I'll be in Hawaii.
Oh, nice. It'll be in the middle of the night for you.
Oh, God, don't tell me that. Any other takeaways?
Just excited for the next couple of races. I mean, we're finally starting to see, like, not that much dominance by the top guy, and some guys coming
George, listen, Liège is different.
I don't know. I think after what we see Remco have done the last two races, he's going to go in there with even more fire to win that.
I agree. So.
It's setting up perfectly.
Yeah,
I hope so, but I still think that Pogačar is going to be back to his usual for Liège. Yeah, he has to.
And no Remco for Flèche. That's a question.
Don't know actually. I don't think so.
Okay,
I haven't seen anything, but let's see quickly. Let's see. Flèche Wallonne.
Anyways.
Yeah, he's on the list.
Wow.
Yeah, he's on the list.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, with coming back from that injury, I mean, he's going to want to race as much as possible. Looks like he's doing Romandy as well, and it might ultimately end up being the perfect build-up for the Tour de France.
Yep. Agreed.
Somebody who has been injured in the beginning of the season, and once he has no more problems and he has that kind of qualities, I think Remco's going to be great for Dauphiné maybe, or Tour of Swiss and Tour de France.
Yeah,
he's going to be okay.
Good.
So we're going to have to wait till outcomes to see your pick for Liège, Johan.
I mean, I'll wait until I see if Pogačar races or not.
Yeah, okay.
Smart. But Thibaut nice top 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right, folks, you heard it here first. All right, everybody. Like I said at the top, happy Easter. Hope everybody's having a great holiday weekend. And fellas, thanks for being here. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. And we will see you all Wednesday for Flèche Wallonne.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys. Bye.